Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
When the glory comes, it will be ours.
Beautiful.
It will be ours. Oh, one day.
Hey, okay, look at Stacy's finger in the camera because she's feeling this song right now.
We need like a tight pan right here. Yes, be strong, my sister. Be strong.
It was a wonderful episode. Hey guys, welcome to the after show for Blackish. This was a powerful, powerful episode, and I'm hoping you guys are tuned in to weigh in on the conversation. I'm your host, Courtney Tezeno. Keep in touch with me at Teznos on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It's not about me tonight at all. I'm gonna let my co-hosts introduce themselves.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Blackish, and thank you very much for tuning in to the after show. I'm your host, Sharprintace Lynn. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sharprintace Lynn with 2 N's.
Hey guys, it's Stacy. I feel like I'm gonna be a little bit somber. Like I really feel like I'm about to cry hearing this song.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Stacy. You guys know. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram during the show. I have my phone ready and charged, so really want to hear what you felt about the episode.
Yes, and use that hashtag ABTV Blackish. Make sure you're leaving your comments below and tweeting us because we have been looking at this hashtag and Blackish is trending. We are so proud.
Yes.
But there are a few tweets that are kind of raising a few eyebrows, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, but let's dive into the episode. So obviously we were teased up until this point that this was going to be an episode that was really going to shed some light on police brutality, and what better time than Black History Month? What did you guys think?
I loved it. I can't even remember what Blackish did for Black History Month last year, but this one I will always remember. Out of all the Blackish episodes, this is the one that I will probably always remember because they went there.
Yeah.
And like they always go there with this topic, they went there just like they go with everyone else, every other topic, and I loved it.
I love that. I feel like that was the way you said that was such a way of keeping them accountable, because in so many other episodes they really do the most in a sense of whatever their topic is, and they go all the way there, and we kind of conversate about how we can't believe they took that risk. And in this situation, I'm like flawed by the fact that just really, really happy that they did that. So really good job.
It was a very emotional episode, and I just want to. I know this
I'm
person
floored,
is
not flawed. I realize that.
Floored. No, we felt it. We felt it.
I'm like, I'm flawed. Continue.
One of the things that I saw during the under the trending topic hashtag for Blackish was that someone said it was so powerful and made them realize that we are even. I'm gonna read it actually. Blackish is very powerful tonight. It made me realize even more how important it is for us to be informed on what's happening in our world. And I mean, there's so many different opinions going around, but that one kind of stood out to me because that is something that's not just happening to Black people. It is happening around our world. Police brutality is not okay. So let's go ahead and dive. I'm not about to preach tonight. I'm not going to preach.
They did it for us. They did it for us.
I'm not going to preach in the opening, but
let me give y'all a few minutes.
let's hold off. But no, okay, so we start off when we see the Dre. It's a throwback of Dre and how things were back in his day and how it's really different. How he was exposed to a few things and his parents were very upfront with him, what's going on, and he kind of was, a Black Panther back then. And it was interesting to see how nowadays parents are kind of shielding that from younger generations because a lot of the kids that we have seen that are affected by police brutality are young. What did you guys think with that parallel of how things were back in the day to how things are now? Did you relate at all? How'd you feel initially?
I related. I got it, and I understand Bo. I understand the Bo and Dre, dynamic and their struggle where Bo wanted to protect her kids, and Dre like, no, they have to know. They have to know because you can look at it from Bo's perspective. Like, no, if they know, then they're going to be angry, and when a cop comes, they're going to remember, oh, this is what you did to this Black boy, or this is what you did to this Black girl. So you're probably going to do it to me. So I'm angry and I'm mad, and I think a lot of a lot of parents want to shield their kids because they don't want their kids to be angry or mad because they may think or they may
react
in a different way, and they may think that is what has happened to every other case that we've seen.
And I think it was so interesting because Bo was being a mother. She was being nurturing, but in this instance, I couldn't be with Bo all the way. I had to be with Grandma Ruby. I had to be with Pops. I had to be with parts of what Dre was saying because it is something that needs to be talked about because it's happening. It's in present day. What do you think, Stacy?
I was really trying to figure out where I related because there were certain parts in my life I feel like I remember in the beginning of my life, maybe when I was a little bit younger, my parents are both on the shielding side, and now that I'm a little bit older, my dad's more on the Dre side, my mom's more on the Bo side, so I was trying to figure it out for my siblings. And, to what both of you guys said, I definitely take 50% of Dre, 50% of Bo, because I understand, maybe not 50, because honestly there were some parts I was really angry with what she was saying, but I understood why she was saying it. She was being a mother, she really was trying to be protective, yet she was... I mean, I don't know how the kids are 10 on the show. So do you tell a 10-year-old, right? How do you say that without sounding like, by the way, the world sucks? We want you to do well, though, but it's good. And that's why I think my parents, I never grew up with that mentality. It's like, by the way, you're black, so always 80%, you better be. I mean, I never got that. And then when I got older, it was like, hey, that was introduced when I was older, is what I'm saying. So I was really trying to figure out where I would have taken the lead or where I would have, I don't know. Yeah. But overall, I definitely understood and related. I think both parents handled it as best as they could in terms of the characters that we know. That was very Bo, that was very Dre. They didn't sway. So I appreciated that.
One thing I appreciated was the fact that we got these facts. That was the one thing that needed to be brought up is the facts that are in it, because even them kind of paralleling the fact that 25% of people that police are shooting are unarmed, and then paralleling that to, I'm saying parallel wrong, but paralleling that to Bo's her profession, where 1 out of 4 people killing folks, that's not okay.
That is not
okay.
So
why is it not okay that unarmed people are getting shot? I love the fact that that's brought up because that has nothing to do with race. That has to do with being a human.
Exactly. So, that was such an interesting point. I wrote that down. I'm like, can we not see how these numbers are affecting people and what they really mean? If you're killing 1 out of 4 people, black, white, yellow, green, if you're killing 1 out of 4 people, you should get your you should not be a police officer anymore. What you doing with your gun?
No. And I think Junior said it best and really brought it home, and was like, Mom, if you killed 1 out of 4 people that you worked on or that you did surgery on, that would make you a pretty bad doctor.
Yeah.
So and I think the way they put that really put it in perspective for me, because it was because you hear 1 in 4 and it's like, okay, they're case
There's
by
so
case.
many people in the world,
but cops are not. Their job isn't to kill. Their job is to protect. It's not to kill. It's to protect without harming anybody, to be honest. And when you hear the 1 out of 4 and then you compare it to a doctor, then it's like, I understand. Are you gonna go to a doctor that killed 1 in 4 people? Because I'm not.
They not gonna get my Yelp review today. Just saying. No, but one thing I did like in this episode, even though we were getting those facts, you do have that other end where 75% of the people that are shot are armed. So that brings up the question that we've been talking about for so long with gun control. So they didn't really shed a lot of light on that. We were focusing on blacks getting killed, which I'm very happy that is the forefront of this conversation. But what do we think about that? If there are 75% of people carrying guns, then what are police to do then? I'm being Bo for this moment where she was being the devil's advocate.
No, I get it. I mean, I guess the devil needs your help
the
today.
Devil don't need my
Stop advocating for the devil.
That line was priceless, by the way. Anyway, he does not need help on his legal team. I said, I'm not with you. But I get, okay, so your question, okay, so it's hard because when I was on Black Tea Party on the Black Hollywood Live network, which is their sister station, we talked a lot about gun control, and that's where I learned a lot about what I felt. And it was very hard to navigate because in some regards, yes, you want people to be able to protect themselves, but if you see that it doesn't seem to be about the protection, it seems to be about the fact that you own something that can harm people, when it's not the right situation or whatever the case is, it makes it a little tougher to say gun control is, we should just have guns and everybody should have the right to bear arms. I don't know about that situation, and it's tough because if you're a police officer, I feel like, you know, you're trained to know what to do when somebody is holding a, you know, a gun. Mm-hmm. I feel like you have the intelligence, I'm hoping you were taught the intelligence to know how to navigate that situation. I know it's tough because I'm sure on the other side, a lot of police officers do get, you know, their lives taken as well in a situation if they decide not to use arms. I'm sure that happens, you know. But at the end of the day, your job, it's your job. Mm-hmm. You know, if my job is to do something, a doctor or whatever the case is, I have to do my job. If I'm working in a psych ward and I have to restrain you as a doctor, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get to pull out anything else but what I was taught.
You get one job. You got one job.
You got one job.
You got one job.
So it's tough. I think that, I still think, no, you know what to do when somebody's bearing arms. That's what I think. I don't know.
I completely agree. I think there are so many cases that are reported, and we kind of getting a little deep on this. This is Blackish. That's why I'm glad we can get
it's deep.
It's deep. But I think there are these different cases that we're seeing that are being reported on. They're being reported on, but we're not reporting on any of the police officers because, again, we keep calling them cops. We're seeing everything negative in this end, but there are police officers that have been on staff that are protecting communities, consistently putting their lives on the line, and I wish we could get back to that, but unfortunately we got too many cases.
Right.
We have too many cases where people are being shot, and we're not gonna get into it.
But you know, I'm sorry.
No, because I was not gonna go ahead because I was going to a whole nother point.
Okay, well, what I want to ask is, Courtney's dad is a police officer. Mm-hmm. Where is your mind when you see all this stuff? That I would love to hear your perspective.
Oh, I mean, my dad is a human being like anyone else, and he sees the things that are going on, and as someone who has a dad that's a police officer, of course I care about my dad's well-being, but my dad is a great police officer, a great human being, a great man, and I mean the stats prove that he's not out here doing that to anyone. So again, he is one of those people that's at the forefront, but I'm completely with everyone else along with him that the things that are happening in this world are not okay. Mm-hmm. There are too many cases where it's like, oh, coincidence, this person was shot and they just had, you know, they had nothing on them and they had a hoodie on, or there's so many cases that are just not making sense. So yes, I may be sensitive to the fact that my dad is a police officer, but that doesn't change the fact that I think it's wrong. Mm-hmm. I think it's completely wrong what we're seeing in the world. So that doesn't affect me. That's not a bias that I have.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, and what Zoe's question was, which I thought was a very good question, like we sit and we talk about it and we sit and talk about it, but what we gonna do? Mm-hmm. And then so I think that's kind of where they kind of left us off, but it was kind of like make sure you keep hope. But it's like, no, like seriously though, like what do we do?
And what did you guys think? So there was a scene in Blackish that really affected me because I don't know about you guys, but I personally was smiling when I saw that they were putting Obama up when Dre was talking about hope, and then I was kind of drawn back when he was like, but do you remember when we were watching that? What were you actually thinking? And when I realized that, oh man, I was thinking something could possibly happen to him. Why are we having why do we have those feelings? Why is that the first thing that's coming to mind when we're seeing our president walking with his first lady out in the open? That's not okay. So it goes back to Zoe saying that there are feelings that we have, but we don't know how to address them. So what can we do?
Because the overall feeling of an African American is they hate us. So when you see a black man who is finally in the most important position ever, you seen people kill John F. Kennedy for being a good man. You've seen, people kill Martin Luther King Jr. So when you put a black man and as a black person thinking they hate us, and you see a black man go out there, you gonna think they hate him too, so they gonna kill him. Because I know I was personally terrified. Mm-hmm. And then when Blackish put up those images of him walking, I was terrified. I'm like, they gonna kill this man. I don't care if he don't do nothing. Just Lord, just please let him make it through these 8 years without dying, because they gonna kill him.
It's crazy. I remember where I was when that happened, and I'm trying to think, because my initial thoughts weren't, he's gonna pass away or somebody's gonna kill him or whatever like that. I think it was when he started, it wasn't the walking part, it was when he was actually getting inaugurated. Mm-hmm. And like I remember people were so close, and I remember being like,
You're too close.
You're so close. You know, like, I don't know who I'm sure 5 of you are security, maybe 7 of you aren't. You know, I don't know who you guys are. Who are you? You know, I saw Beyonce, but I'm like, you too far. Get your ass close. You know, because they're not gonna shoot Beyonce. They're just not. They're not. You know what I mean? I remember that day very clearly, and I remember my dad, his reaction was so much more scary than mine. I feel like he was just like, you know, this could go one or two ways today. After that, I never heard him say that again, because I know he like, we had so much faith that God put Obama there that it was like, don't even worry about it. Like, you know what I mean? But I remember that day was really scary. And it sucks because, just like you said, I think Zoe did bring up a really great question. We have so many questions. We have so many thoughts. You know, I never was like, oh, they hate him necessarily. Mostly I didn't think that because of the way people reacted when he did win. There was definitely a lot of people that were like mad he lost. But the amount of friends that I personally had that were excited he won, they were all racist. And so I was like, you know what? My people are good. But I don't know everybody in the world. So I think that was, you know, the difference of perspective. But I remember the circle that I hung out with, even if they didn't vote for him, they were like, it's not like, I mean, if he wins, he wins. Like, what, you know, you mad? Like,
but you know, there's so many people out there that just hate black people, that just want, to the point they want to kill them. I feel like we may be like the only race where it's that many people out there that really are like, I hate that person because of color. Well, I kind of feel like that some ways, but granted, I know there are tons of other races out there that, you know, aren't treated fairly and equally as well. It's just coming from our long history in this country, it's kind of like, okay, you know, I don't feel like there's a lot of people here that like me.
Let's get back to something that Bo said this episode was that she felt like we have the best justice system. Now, Bo, I mean, Tracee, we love you. We don't know if that's your opinion, but she said we have the best justice system in this episode, and the only case that we won was OJ. Now,
who wrote that? Like that? It's like they wrote it so that we can do what we're doing, which is awesome.
React. But there are people that feel that way.
Yeah,
there are people out there that feel that way though, which is kind of sad. It's like, okay.
I love Dre's response though. He was like, "We so desperate to win that we fought for that idiot." Now that's not my opinion necessarily. I don't really know, but hearing him say it like that,
OJ did it. It's like, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
That's the thing. I don't know. We were like 5, so it's like, I love that he said it like that. He was like, I was older to know that was stupid. You know, that can't be our only win. So I thought that was interesting. The scary part about what Bo said, though, is like, what if I don't know everything about the justice system, but what if we do have one of the better ones? I'm pretty sure we do. You know, I'm from Nigeria, so I remember going back home and like saying, justice system is pretty crap here too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's a lot of bad justice systems in the world, I think. But do people look at America and think we have more of a fair one? Probably.
I don't think so.
You think so?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Especially with all these Black Lives Matter and seeing how
I don't mean just recently. I mean like as an overall.
I mean, as an overall, I mean, at one point we did think we had a good justice system until recently, until it just this explosion of, it seems like, or maybe it has, and I'm pretty sure it has always been there. Just now we have these little things that capture it all. But
that's a point that Dre brought up, is that the only difference now is that it's being recorded, which I think is a great thing, because I mean, now it can be put out there. There's no filters to anything. All of whatever's happening in this world will be seen. So there is, I think our justice system is getting better, or let me not say they're getting better. They're trying to get better. But before we get too deep into that, what did you guys think about the dynamic between Zoe kind of what did Bo say? She said she finally had some depth. She finally had some depth this episode, and we knew Junior had it, but I really felt like he was so pro-Black. Was anyone else a little just like,
he was not with that donut shirt on, but he was.
Yeah, they
don't going on his coat.
I'm like, y'all gotta dress my man a little better. But what did you guys
think about him wanting to go out and at that age to a riot, and then Zoe is like, you can't. What did the audience think about her emotional reaction?
Yes,
be honest.
It was a bit much.
It felt a bit melodramatic.
It was a bit I think there was a better way to do it.
Wasn't.
Yeah, it just was like all of a sudden.
And
it should have been like a gradual, like, okay, no, Junior, like, this is how I feel, and then like break down, kind of like Dre, kinda, because Dre was all kind of a gradual.
And I think they they said the point, you were on your phone the whole time, so we didn't even expect it.
Oh yeah.
So
but then I love how they put that out there, because I feel like there's so many kids who feel just lost, just like Zoe does. Not even kids, people in this generation feel lost, and they're connected to their phones. And Zoe was probably on that hashtag, like, okay, let me get into this conversation on here, but we're not talking about it at home.
Yeah.
So I love that Blackish was able to make it a family thing. Like, we're gonna go to this riot, we're gonna talk about these issues, and the kids were involved. So I love that they did that, because she's a representation of millennials.
Right. I will say, oh no, go ahead.
No, just to piggyback off that real quick, and then not just millennials, but every generation was represented there. So I think I love that, and I love how they were all there, like the Cosby's.
He was like, no, you're not going nowhere. We're gonna sit down,
and we're about to eat this rice,
right?
And we're about to go wash our hands with the vodka.
Yeah,
Grandma Ruby was my favorite.
And you notice it was all shot in the living room, and that was it. It reminded me so much of the Cosby Show, and just so Huxtable family. It was just like, I love it. All generations talking.
That's so funny. I will say the one line in the entire episode that really bugged me was when Anthony Anderson, Dre, said, "I can't wait for a cop to get a hold of you, boy," to Junior.
And then he reversed it once Junior said something that he wanted to say. We can't keep talking to each other like that now.
I was really irked. I'm like, can this relationship not do this anymore? I really need a stronger father-dad relationship. I think it is authentic to their characters, but didn't like that line. Anyway.
All right. Well, I don't want to end on that, but we have to wrap things up. It is a 30-minute show, so again, our after show can't be too long, you guys. But if you guys wanted to weigh in on the conversation, leave your comments below. Use that hashtag ABTV Blackish. And where can everyone find you guys?
Hello, everybody. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sharprintace Lynn. At me at Sharprintace Lynn with any more comments that you guys have about Blackish. I would love to hear them.
Absolutely. Same with me. You guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeSays. Would love your comments. Definitely want to know what you thought about Grandma Ruby saying black owned at the end of the episode.
Yes, that was really good.
And
keep in touch with me at Tezeno's Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. You know I want to hear what you guys thought about this episode. Use that hashtag ABTV Blackish. ABTV Blackish. Please let us know what you thought, because this was such a powerful episode. Yeah. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Keep hope alive.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later, guys.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.